I'm Poppy Owen. We're going to dive into the schooling system in Dubai, how to even get your kids into the school, what the process looks like, and equally, what do the family communities look like in Dubai, what's available, what's around, things like that. Let's dive straight into it. If you don't know who I am and you've never heard of me before, I'm Poppy Owen. I am a Dubai-based content creator. I work in marketing and self-employed, and equally my husband is self-employed too. So we moved to Dubai 3 years ago now, which means I feel like I'm finally qualified enough to share my honest and real, raw, emotional experience with you in terms of what the process looked like, what I would do again if I had the opportunity to, just so that you don't have to make the same mistakes that we did, or just be geared up to make the best decision for you and your family. Like if you're looking at moving to Dubai, if you're living in Dubai, you want to move to a different area, you want to put your kids in school, whatever that looks like for you, I'm just here to make it slightly less chaotic for you and overwhelming for you, and just hopefully give you the real raw answers that you've probably been looking for that you can't find on ChatGPT or Google. So let's get into it. I'm firstly going to go into what family communities are available in Dubai and what the prices of the areas look like, so that you can kind of make the best decision for you, because I feel like there's one or two ways to go around this in terms of how do you know where to live and what school to put your kids in, things like that. You can either decide where to live first and then look for children's schools around the area, or looking at the commute time, or you can decide on the school first and then look at the communities that are around the school. Some people might not mind the commute if it's a far away, if it's the school that they want, for example, but most people, to make things easier, look for the school and the community quite close together. So it's up to you how you want to do it. Some people were like set on where they wanted to live, then they choose a school. That was my experience. Like, we knew that we were looking at Damac Hills 2 for a place to live, and when we moved to Dubai, my children were 2 and 0, like 4 months old. So for us, we put the children in nursery first in our community in Damac Hills 2, and then when it came to them needing to go to school, so when they're like just turning 5 and 3, that's when we made the decision of putting them in school, and I'll share with you the process on that later on in this video. But today, I'm just going to start off with the family communities. Right, so I'm going to go through like the more affordable style family communities that are in Dubai that may, I always say that there's like 3 tiers with people in Dubai. First tier, you've got many. You've got supercars, you've got the penthouses, you've got a villa on the palm, whatever it is, okay? So that's type A. Type B is like more of the affordable family style of people. They just want a good routine, they want to go to the gym, they want to drop off their kids at school, they go to work, very kind of like routine based, low-key family vibe. That's the type B. Type C is the people who come to Dubai specifically for work, and they work their asses off and then they send money back to their country for their families and things like that. That's a type C. I would say for these affordable family communities, we're looking at the type B kind of people. I am a type B kind of person in Dubai. So for us, having a more affordable, realistic family community for us was really important, which is why we decided on where we wanted to live. But let me just give you the options. So these are in no particular order and no particular area, but I will show you exactly where they are on the map, just so that you know how far away they are from everything, because mostly the family communities that are more affordable are not near the marina, the palm, all of the like the front end of Dubai. It's further back in Dubai, and you're basically in the desert. Now, if you are from the countryside in the UK or wherever you live, that won't be a problem, because that's what it feels like as a family community in Dubai. If you are a city person and you love the hustle and like the chaos of the traffic and like really busy vibes, then these family communities are probably not going to be best for you. You're probably looking at the marina, the palm, those kind of areas where there's lots going on. But I would say these family communities are a bit more chill, more serene, more like routine focused, like large spaces for like parks and walks and greenery. Yeah, so first one I'm going to mention is Town Square. Town Square is a bit more established. I have a few of my friends that live in Town Square. We love it as a family community. There's lots to do there. They put on a lot of events as well for Town Square that families can get involved in. It is a bit of a larger community as well, so there's loads of different sections in Town Square. But I'm going to base all of these prices that I'm going to share with you on a 3-bedroom villa or townhouse that's got a garden and a maid room. So if you don't know what a maid room is, no, it's not the house comes with a maid. It's a smaller room that is normally downstairs in the villa, and you can use it for, like, a lot of people in Dubai use it as a live-in helper room, so like that's where they would stay. We have actually turned ours into an office, so that, because we both work from home, that is where we work from essentially, or Ben does and I work from the table. So yeah, so all these prices are based on like a 3-bedroom with a maid room. They all have like gardens and stuff like that as well. So yeah, Town Square, you're looking at 3-bed plus maids. You're looking at between 150,000 dirham a year to rent and 170,000 dirham to rent. So if you convert that into like pounds, for example, you're looking at about, I'm going to say 29,000 to 30,000 pounds a year. Yeah, I would say that. And 170 would be like 35,000. So between 30 and 35,000 pounds a year rent for a 3-bed. So 150,000 to 170,000 dirham a year. Moving on, Damak Hills 2. I've done a video on Damak Hills 2 before, so if you are interested in that community, then there's a whole video on it for you. I go around the whole of D2 basically, but this is where we chose to live. Honestly, like, I didn't have too much opinions about where we lived in Dubai, only because we work from home, so for us commuting and things wasn't even an issue for us, and actually we based our choice to live in Damak Hills too because when Ben's best friend moved to Dubai as well at this exactly the same time, he is in the construction world, and he was like, oh, you know, like D2 is more affordable and there's newer buildings and stuff there. So we were like, yeah, we'll just follow you. So we've been here for 3 years, and we've lived in 2 villas in the same cluster in the last 3 years. So Damak Hills 2, 3-bedroom with a maid room, garden, a couple of balconies as well. You're looking at between 110,000 dirham and 130,000 dirham. So 110 is about £22,000. 130, you're looking at, £26,000. We actually pay 120, so 120 a year, and we pay it in 4 cheques. So it depends on the landlord how many cheques you are able to negotiate and how many payments that you make throughout the year, and they do need a cheque, so just be mindful of that. Then you've got the Valley, so further out again. It's a new development as well, but for a 3-bed with a maid room there, you're looking at about 130,000 to 150,000 dirham a year. Lots of amenities and things there as well. All of these communities are catered for families. Lots of parks, lots of pools, lots of things to do in these areas. Like down at Kills 2's got a water park. In Town Square they've got like a carousel and a splash pad and a park, and very much geared up for families. Lots of places to walk. Like pet farms and aviaries and all of these kind of things. Then you've got Dubai South. You're looking at a bit of a varied range here of like 110,000 to 160,000 dirham there. We actually went to go and view a school in Dubai South, and when we went to Dubai South, there's not much going on there. But I think they were like still in the beginning stages of building it as well. So yeah, Dubai South there. Villanova is another one. Somebody mentioned on my Instagram that it'll be worth mentioning that that's a really good family community there. 3-bed with a maid room there is between 160,000 and 180,000. So yeah, I don't know too much about that. I don't think I've actually ever been there. But it's good to put on your options anyway in terms of location and if it's near a school near you. Another one you've got is Arabian Ranches 3. Now, Arabian Ranches 1 and 2 are probably a bit more expensive, so that's why I've put Arabian Ranches 3. It's a very new development there. Everything's new and shiny, but you're looking at between 160 and 250,000 dirham for Arabian Ranches 3. So a bit more on the expensive side there, but everybody has a different budget for what they're willing to spend on rent a year. So it's good to see like where's in your range, where's best location wise for you, and making a decision that way, because at the end of the day is you don't want to be moving somewhere where it's a good community, but you are really stretching yourself with money to live there, because that's going to make everything else uncomfortable for you. So you need to kind of pick based on location and budget. And then what I would suggest is with family communities, go and spend a good couple of hours there so that you have a feel of it. And especially in like prime times and when all the kids are out of school and they're in the parks and the clusters and the parks and the main parks, and families are out and about in the evenings, and see what the vibe is of the community and see if you enjoy it, because there's no point in going there trying to establish a routine and you want to feel the vibe of the place when everyone's in work and everyone's in school, for example. So go and spend a good couple of hours there. Go to the coffee shops that you would probably go to on your routine. Go and have a look at the gyms, go and have a look at the facilities in the place. Like, imagine yourself living there, and that will give you more of a representation of living there. And yeah, so they're in terms of location and communities in Dubai. Moving on to schools. So like I said at the beginning, our kids were in nursery, and then when my eldest was just turning 5, and my youngest is just turned 3, we decided to put them into school. So for us, the process for that was they were in nursery. So for them to move school, they need a transfer certificate. So it's basically moving from one establishment to the other. All the files, all the notes, everything get transferred. It's a bit like, when you move doctors or something like that from one place to the other in the UK or whatever. It's a bit like that. They need to move all the notes over. So, but it's coming back to like, how do you even know what school you want and where to look, all of this kind of stuff. I was in the same predicament as you guys, right? I was like, where do I even begin? Like, my kids have never been to school before. Like, where do I even begin with this? Now, I had heard when we first moved to Dubai that the wait lists for the best schools or the good schools, things like that, were a lot. Like, it was a long list for wait lists and stuff, and you had to get on really early. And to be honest, I was like, yeah, fine. But because my kids weren't in school, kind of went over my head. So what I came to realise is like, I know this is early, but I need to get ahead. So we live in Damac Hills too, and one of my preferences of my kids going to school was that I wanted them to attend a British school. The reason being was when they went to nursery, there was not one British person in the nursery. Now, I'm not saying that anything's wrong with that, but what I was finding with my children was their language and them learning the English language, for example, was getting broken. So they were like broken sentences, not saying words right, or, just things like that. And I was like, I want to change that. So when we started looking at schools, I was like, I am particular with, I want them to go to a British school and be taught by British teachers. That's my own preference. Not everybody is going to have that. Some people want a school that is very like creative and focuses on sports and things like that. And, some people are like, I want them to go to an international school and da-da-da-da. Based on what you want, that is where I would begin, because there's going to be a hell of a lot of schools and you're going to have people be like, oh, my kids goes here, my kids go there, and you should come to this one. And there's a lot of opinions, but nobody knows your family like you do, and nobody knows your children like you do. So that is why I would always say, look at like what you value as a family and like what you want for your children, and start there. And a year prior to them going to school, we heard on the grapevine that there was a school being built around the corner from Damac Hills 2 in Mira that was a British school. So they were building the Dubai British School in Mira, and they just started building. And in the October the year before, they then opened up the wait list for that. So I registered for Effie to attend that school because A, it was close to where we were living, B, it was British, so it was another tick on my list, and yeah, it just made sense for her to go there. I did actually go and visit another school in Dubai South. It was a GEM school. But when we walked in there, because this other school wasn't built, we couldn't go in and have a tour. But I did go to the Dubai South school, and Ben and I had a little tour whilst the kids were in nursery. And we were going into the classrooms, and we were going around the school, and we just knew. It was like a vibe. It was just, we just knew, like, yeah, no, like this isn't what I want for my children, and it's just, you just can tell the vibe. And that's when I was like, okay, like, rule that one out. So we went to go and see another branch of the Dubai British schools, and yeah, that was nice. It was like, okay, I get the feel of like what the school's about, and what the values are and how they teach and things like that. So that was kind of a done deal. So what we did is we registered Effie on the wait list in the October for her to start in the September, and went through the assessments. Like, to be honest, like, we were like one of the first ones. As soon as that waitlist opened, I was straight on it because I was like, I'm getting my child in this school. Anyway, long story short, she got accepted. Whilst with my youngest, we were in the process of like looking for a different nursery for her, because she was still 2 at the time, and she was turning 3 in the August. So we were looking at different schools, and when I was looking at different nurseries, she all these nurseries were like more expensive than the school. It would still mean that we'd have to commute and drop her off even after dropping Effie off at school and things like that, and it just didn't make sense. Anyway, it got to like May, and with the school starting in September, and I just had the thought of like, why are we looking at different nurseries and a more of a commute and all of these things when I could potentially put her in school in FS1, which is the lowest class of the school. And so I quickly had a look, and it was like, oh, everyone's on a wait list. And I was like, oh, what's the likelihood of her being accepted now in May when school is starting in September? And I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to put her on the wait list, register her, go through the assessments and see what happens. Anyway, Effie got accepted, great. She was starting school like in the August, because Dubai schools start their year in August. She was all sorted, and then we still hadn't heard anything for our youngest to start, so we were like, oh god, they've really gone through like this wait list, and it was 2 days before school started where we got an acceptance letter for her. So I'm so glad that we put Effie on the wait list a year in advance, and B, like, people say, well, what would you have done if she hadn't got accepted? Luckily for me, Ben and I work from home, so I probably would have just had her at home up until she got accepted, and had a place. So yeah, that was the whole process. But there was only 2 schools that I visited, and it was a choice based on like what I wanted, location, all of these things. But there is a website that I would encourage you to have a look at if you want to like suss out the school in terms of their grades and like how well they are and what they're about. There is a website called the KHDA website, where it's all the schools are based on this website, and they rank them. They've got a rating on there. I'll be totally honest, I actually had a look the other day to suss this website out, because I was like, I wonder if you could base and filter the schools based on location. So like, let's say if you're looking at living in Town Square, could you filter out the schools around Town Square? And to be honest, it was really, really difficult to even do that. So what I would use the website for is just to cross-check, like, it's everything that you want for your school, what they do, ratings, all of that, just to make a concrete decision. But they have all the educational, like, schools, different kind of schools, filters, all of that on that website, so you can go and have a look there. Another one is just like, yeah, have a look to see what schools are around your location. But you can register the children, like even if you're in the UK, you can still register your children on the wait list, or register your interest for the schools whilst you're in the UK, because I don't think it's till later on they even ask for like Emirates ID and like the visas and all of that kind of stuff. So wouldn't worry about that. What I would worry about is just like, get your name on a wait list, because the schools in Dubai do not play around and you probably have to pay a fee to be on the wait list and stuff as well, so just be mindful of that. But yeah, and fees come into a big play and part of schools as well, because to be honest, like, the way I thought about the school was like, I just want my kid to go to a British school, a good school. I know my kids are going to be well looked after. I'll look at the price later. So it was a case of like, that was my main priority. And it turns out that the Dubai British School is kind of like in the middle in terms of pricing and the fees. And because 2 of our kids are in schools, it kind of just like, holy shit, there's like a lot to pay for. So just for context, like my children are in FS1 and FS2, so they're actually in back-to-back years, just with how their birthdays fall. So FS1 and FS2, so early years, and we pay 102,000 dirham a year for them to attend early years school, and it's the same pricing structure up until like year 2 or 3, I think. But yeah, it's about like 51,000 dirham a year. So it depends on budget that you have for children as well, because we're self-employed, we have to pay for everything ourselves. Like we'd have no housing allowance, no school allowance, nothing. But I know that some people do have packages if they have jobs and stuff like that in Dubai, that they get an allowance for those kind of things. So just to be clear there. So yeah, so that's kind of the process, and the kind of process that you go through with schools is that you go on the wait list, you go through an application form, you have an assessment, so whether it be online or in person, they'll do an assessment there. What else do they do? Yeah, like they meet the teachers and stuff like that, see if it's a good fit. But the communication is really, really good with them. Like you can literally ask them anything, and yeah, so that's basically it when it comes to school and communities in Dubai, from a place of someone who's been through it all. I've got you. But feel free to ask any questions below. Use groups is what I would say as well, like use Facebook groups, community groups and stuff, and ask the question like, where's the best school? I mean, everyone's best or recommended school is going to be different to one another's, of course, but it might just be worth asking around where's best, because sometimes if you say like, how long is DBS Mira away from Damak Hills 2, and it'll be like 10 minutes, when in reality it probably takes 15 minutes to get there and then 15 minutes back. So you're spending a good maybe like 45 minutes, even an hour, kind of just going there and back. So don't believe everything that you see on Google or ChatGPT. Maybe worth ask somebody who actually goes there and see what it's like. So yeah, that's my recommendation to you. Any questions, pop them below. Give me a little follow on Instagram, TikTok, yeah, the Poppy in on those, and subscribe to my channel. That'd be really helpful, because I just want to help as many people as possible make a better decision for you and your family and things like that. Just make it easier for you. I am going to be starting an email list as well, just so that I can give straight up information and yeah, key information about moving to Dubai, living in Dubai, recommendations in Dubai. And so yeah, feel free to join that. It's free. I'll give you everything that you need in there. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you on the next video.